What is up, guys? It's your boy Steady Chaos. So I wanted to test the new firmware update for the LG C10 and G10 one more time using an HDR game. So in my previous video I had tested it using an SDR game, Quantum Break, and when doing that I didn't see any black level flicker. So a lot of people told me to use a game that has lower and choppier frame rates ranging from 30 to say 70. That was kind of variable and all over the place. And obviously you have to have G-Sync engaged for VRR, and also to use a game that was HDR. So here we are in Resident Evil 3. I have G-Sync engaged, and in order to make sure that the frame rates are kind of choppy and low, I'm not only playing in native 4K, if you can see here, 4K, but I've also increased the image quality. Let's pump it up to 160% resolution scaling. That is ridiculously high and really taxes my RTX 3080. Let's go back. Yeah, I get some good frame rate dips here. So the 03.21.18 firmware purports to fix or at least improve black level rays when using the TV in VRR mode, and also black level flicker. So I'm not one who's really noticed black level rays or flicker since I've owned my LG C10, and I've owned it for about a year now. But a lot of people say that it is there, black level rays and flicker, and that you really need to use an HDR game with low and variable refresh rates to find it. So that's why we are playing Resident Evil here. So in order to help improve these issues, black level rays, black level flicker, LG with the 03.21.18 update has implemented what's called a fine-tuned dark areas slider. And the idea is you can use the slider to try to cover up some of that black level rays or flicker. If you set the slider lower, it'll make the dark areas darker. If you set the slider higher, it'll make the dark areas brighter. Wow, I just missed this guy like 7 times. Holy crap. I'm trying to talk and aim here. Just go down, bro. I'm not really interested in fighting this zombie. We just want to use this area to create some frame rate stutter. Test out the VRR of G-Sync. So here we go. We're choppy. We're at 56 FPS right now. Oh yeah, we're getting some good drop frames here. 50, 60 FPS. Okay, it's running pretty steady now at 55. I'm not seeing any flicker. Let's stop right here. Do you see any flicker? I don't see any flicker. Really trying to look in those dark areas. Let's try going down this corridor here. Even though the frame rate is kind of choppy in the 50s, it's not really dropping down too much into the 30s. So why don't we try bumping up the scaling factor to 170. Look at the graphics memory. It claims it needs 17 plus gigabytes of graphics memory, and that I only have 10 gigabytes on my RTX 3080. There's no way in reality that it's actually using that much memory. Otherwise, I'd be getting like 10 frames per second. So we are definitely getting some stutter. There's no doubt about that. G-Sync can only do so much, but I'm still not seeing any black level flicker or any oddities such as black level rays. Yes, it's running choppy as hell. Let's run down here. Oh, there's some flicker. I just saw a little bit. Did you see that? Let's try running back into this area. I want to say, yeah, I'm seeing it a little bit. It's so hard to spot, though, honestly. A lot of people, and everybody's different. Everybody's more sensitive to certain things or less sensitive to certain things. So I'm not trying to diminish anyone's claims or their hardships or their frustrations. Yes, I have noticed here and there in this particular gameplay sequence, especially when running down this corridor here, there is some black level flicker. Black level rays, no, I'm not noticing that at all. Black level flicker, yes, I did see some of that down here. So I'm not dismissing people's claims when they say that it really bothers them. But I just don't see how it can get to the point where they get really frustrated and talk about return to the TV. Because look, I mean, if there is flicker, it's so minute and it's so inconsistent. I just don't see how it could ruin your experience on the LG C10 or G10. I mean, yeah, there's some flicker right there, that transition coming out of this corridor and running into this opening here. You can really see it in the shadow areas. See a little bit there? And I don't even know if my camera can pick this up. Most likely it can't, even though I have jacked up my ISO to 800. So the main thing to take away from this is the 03.21.18 update. It's never going to fix entirely black level flicker. It's something that just cannot be 100% fixed. But that doesn't mean they can't attempt to make it better with updates like 03.21.18 with the fine-tuned dark areas slider. Now, if I were to use this slider real quick, hold down the gear button on your remote, go to additional settings. I have it at the default setting, which is 0. If we turn it down to, say, a lot of people say -10 to 15 is a good spot to have it at to cover up black level flicker or black level rays. You can see here instantly, like, the screen gets darker. Like this apartment building we're looking at here, it becomes pretty hard to see, and my camera's really having a hard time picking it up. You know, the thing you got to worry about with fine-tuned dark areas, when you go down towards -20 or -25, you start crushing your shadow detail. Yes, it's great that the slider does not affect specular highlights and overall bright level areas on your screen. It only affects the dark levels, but it can take those dark levels to a point where they're so low that you just lose shadow detail. So you got to be careful with that. But as far as flicker, again, frame rates are all over the place. They're dropping into the upper 30s or going up into the lower to mid 50s. And I'm just not, besides the really obvious stutters, I'm not seeing, you know, VRR flicker to the point where I'm just like, man, LG C10 it has a serious problem on its hands, and it sure better be fixed for the LG C1. You know, I'm not seeing that. It's not, the flicker is not to the point where I think it is a serious problem. Let's just put it that way. But again, I'm not dismissing people's concerns. So yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for this video. I just want everyone to understand that with the 03.21.18 update, VRR flicker and black level rays, I think black level rays for the most part has been addressed by this slider. But VRR flicker, it may have been somewhat improved by the update and also the slider itself, but it is not entirely gone, okay? It's not something that LG can entirely fix, and they've said as much, okay? So yeah, I just wanted to get this video out there, get this quick demo out there in HDR with Resident Evil 3 to show you guys how the new patch is functioning on these TVs. Okay guys, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section down below. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe if you can, and we will see you guys later. Peace.